Want to make your PowerPoint presentation stand out with stunning 3D text? You're in the right place. Today I'll show you how to create stunning 3D models and 3D text in PowerPoint. Let's dive in. Here I am in PowerPoint. Feel free to follow along. I've added a blue background and I've also locked the layer. I've got my selection pane open. You can see over here where I've locked the layer. First, I would like to insert a 3D object in PowerPoint. Please remember, we are going to work with two types of 3D text. The first is a 3D object. Let's move to the top to the Insert tab. And when we move over to Illustrations, right above is 3D Models. We're going to click on the down arrow. And we have a choice of this device. In other words, we can import a 3D object that we have in another file on our computer, or we can have stock 3D models. We're going to click on that. We're going to type in here's a lot of the models that Microsoft has. We're going to narrow it down. We're going to type up here where it says search 3D models. We're going to type in 3. We're going to select that first 3. Come on down here, hit insert, and we're going to move it over a little bit. We're going to go back to Insert, 3D Models, move back down to our stock models, and now we're going to type D, and we're going to select this 3D, D, hit Insert, and move it over here. Let's get ourselves some room. When we click on the 3, we see we have an icon in the very middle. That allows us to rotate that any direction we'd like. Now you might notice that at the top, when I clicked on the 3D model appears in red, and it comes up with its own little controls in the ribbon. So even though I move this, I can move it back to its original position. I can move it to various positions. So feel free to move it how you would like. I'm going to kind of move that one that way and the D this way. Now if we look at the different controls, we can see that on the right over here we have pan and zoom. When I click on that, it places a magnifying glass right here. That allows us to click on that and pan and zoom with that control. Let's go back to where we were. And to turn that off, just simply click off of the selection, and now it's back off right here. The next thing to be aware of is if we move over to where it says size, we see a down arrow right here. If we click on that, it opens the Format 3D pane. This gives us more control over our model. We can now precisely control how our model looks and the size. We can have special effects like shadow, reflection. In fact, let's add a shadow. So we'll come over here to presets and let's add this shadow right here. And so now we have our shadow. We're going to leave it black. Transparency, 60 is good. Size, blur. We'll leave all that the same. So that gave our D a shadow. If we want to go over here to our 3, we have to do the same thing. And now we've added a shadow to our 3. It's kind of hard to see it. Let's go in and increase our shadow so you can see it better. Just so that you can see the effect. You see it coming out better right there. So we moved it up to about 11. Let's do the same thing with the 3. We'll move it up to about 11. And now we can see our shadow better. Another thing you do is you can come up here to add animations. And we can select an animation, such as on the 3, we'll do a turntable. And there you can see it turns it. Pretty cool. And you can adjust the speed of that over here on the right hand side. Let's go over to the D, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a swing, which is kind of cool. Swings one way, and the other. That is how you work with 3D objects in PowerPoint. Now let's take a look at 3D text. Now let's move on to the second part, turning regular text into 3D text. Go up to the top, select Insert, go over to Text Box, come down, select an area for the text. We're going to put in 3D text. We're going to select that text and we're going to make it Arial black. And we're also going to turn it into about 144 pixels. And make an adjustment to get it on the same line. We're going to go up and select Shape Format. And then we're going to go over to the right where it says Align. And we're going to align center. And we're going to align middle. And now we're all lined up. Currently our text is black. We could turn it white so it shows up better, but we're going to change the color anyway later. So we're going to leave it as is. Now one thing you might want to do is open your selection pane. A couple ways you can do that. You can go back over here to Home. We can come over to Select and come down and click on Selection Pane, and that will open up the selection pane. It's good to have the selection pane open because it shows your layers. Currently, you can see I have the rectangle locked and our text box is unlocked. Next thing we want to do is we want to format our shape. So under Shape Effects, we can come down here and this opens up our shapes on the right hand side. Now, it selected shape first. We do not want that. You don't want to use shape first. You want to use text options. If you use shapes, it's going to actually do the effects on your border of your text. So we want to come over here to text options so it actually works on the text. We're going to come over to the A, text effects, click on that, and now we have all our different effects. I'm going to close them all. So we have shadow, reflection, soft edge, 3D format. We want to go down to 3D format, click on that. Let's start at the top. We're going to start with the bevel. We want kind of a rounded bevel. And we're going to click on that. Next, we want to extrude or 3D, so we want to add depth to it. And we're going to make ours about 50. Might have to change that after we're in it. We're going to come over here to the color. And we're going to make the color kind of an off red. Let's go something like that. Let's try that. One thing I forgot to do is change the color of our text. So let's go over here to the A, go over to color. We want a red. So now we have our red. Go back to where we were. Where it says text effects. Now we're going to come down and we're going to actually select our material. Let's go with plastic. I think it's right here. So it's going to give that material effect of plastic. For lighting, let's go down here and we're going to go down to special glow. Okay. Next we're going to move down to 3D rotation. And we're going to select a preset. Let's go with this. I don't like that. Let's change that. Let's go with a different, something like that. There we go. So now we see our face and we see our depth, which is slightly different color. Now you can easily fine tune the different areas in here. So we were using presets, which is easy, but we can actually change all these to exactly the way we want. Let's give our layer a subtle shadow. So we're going to go up to shadow and select a preset. And we're going to select the first one, an outer shadow. And now we can see our shadow. And we can adjust this so the distance comes out. Maybe we want a little bit more like that. make it stand out more. Now there's some other effects we can add. We could add reflection, which doesn't work too good when you have a shadow. We could also add glow, so we could actually add kind of a light glow to this. That actually works out pretty good. And we can go down to soft edges and add a soft edge to it. So with all these tools, you can make this whatever you want. So you can see the power of using 3D text compared to using 3D objects. That is, unless you have a specific object like a house that's 3D or something like that you want to use. Otherwise, if you're playing with text, stick with 3D text. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow creators, and subscribe to our channel for more tips and tutorials. Until next time, keep creating, keep inspiring, and see you in our next video.